we want to make sure that the future is there. You know, we often get overlooked because we're such a small, tiny little country, but you know, we have so much opportunity, and it's important that the kids can see that.
Wouldn't it be a great story if one of our players was a Welsh international, male or female? And that would be the dream goal for us, so that people, a part of the community, want to play, want to maybe progress, or just want to have fun. So I think community is the right word to encompass who we are.
I think this essence, especially being in a pandemic and coming out, seeing everyone on the street or in their own like little bubbles, communities coming together, wearing Welsh tops, football tops, which for me is so important. We do have a football culture here, and it's booming and it's growing each time.
It's about football friendship, and football friendship is amazing, you know. We love the Croatian guys, and the Croatian guys, I think, love us now.
Clwb Pêl-droed Bwclen arbennig ofnadwy oherwydd da ni'n glwb cymunedol, mae yna lot o aelodau gymuned yn dod yma i wirfoddoli, ddim yn unig jyst i chwarae pêl-droed, ond hefyd i helpu allan drwy torri glaswellt a pethau fel yna. A gobaith ydy i ni yn y dyfodol i ni ehangu hynna i'r gymuned mwy eang.
The great thing about football is that it's got such an enormous reach, really. So you know, you could be sitting watching it in in Africa or in Asia or in South America, and you see Wales and our anthem and our flag, and you can't really miss the Welsh flag, can you? The Draco. But you know, they're all ways of exemplifying what we are as a nation and why we are different and why we are what we are on the global stage.
Bore da a chroeso cynnes I chi gyd. Good morning and a very, very warm welcome to you all to the launch of our Wales, the Football Association of Wales' 2021 to 2026 strategic plan, struggling with that word all morning, for Welsh football. Croeso I lawnsiad ein Cymru strategaeth newydd Cymdeithas Bêl-droed Cymru ar gyfer pêl-droed yn y wlad hon ar gyfer 2021 I 2026. We're so very, very pleased for you that you were able to join us this morning, whether you're here watching in the Our Wales studio or whether you are watching from the comfort of your very own homes. Mae'n braf iawn cael eich cwmni chi bore yma, bai bod chi yma yn gwylio o'r studio fan hyn yng Nghaerdydd neu yn gwylio o adre. I'm also very pleased that we are joined by the Welsh football family, as well as our friends and stakeholders from across Europe and the rest of the world. I'm Shauna David, and I'll be your host, and I'll be guiding you through the next 45 minutes or so. And I'm also absolutely delighted that joining me on stage today, we have Steve Williams, the Football Association of Wales President, Noel Mooney, Chief Executive of the Football Association of Wales, and Carol Bell, one of the FAW's 3 independent board members. Together, the 3 of them will outline the FAW's vision for Welsh football, the strategic pillars that will be key to delivering the Our Wales plan, and the strategy between 2021 and 2026. You're also going to be able to read the strategy for yourselves, but we'll have more on that later on in the morning. Well, Noel, I'll come to you first. First of all, welcome. You've been in the job for a couple of weeks now, and you seem to have really hit the ground running.
Yes, bore da, Sianad, and hello to everybody. Welcome this morning. Yeah, I've been struck by the great love for football here in Wales. We've travelled all across Wales at this stage, meeting clubs from the highest level to grassroots, and the love for the game has struck me a lot. We've got a great team here at the FAW, We've got a great plan now that you'll see later this morning. So if we deliver this plan together, we'll be in a much better place by 2026 to celebrate our 150th year. But yeah, today is all about communicating what we're going to do over the next 6 years and all of the people we're going to work with to deliver that.
Absolutely. Well, I look forward to hear what you've got to say. And we've also got a new president, Steve Williams. But Steve, you've started your 4-year post, but of course, you're no stranger to Welsh football.
No, that's right, Sianed. I'm pleased to say that I've been involved in Welsh football at grassroots level since about the early 1980s. And it's great for me coming from, I'll be political and say the home of Wales, North Wales, where the FAW was formed. And being involved in one of the oldest clubs in Wales has given me great satisfaction to develop throughout the system and the pyramid within our country. In 1997, I was then fortunate enough to get onto the FAW, and I've continuously worked to improve the work that the FAW are doing and the work that's being done in the community. And long may it continue, because as the CEO has said, I'd like to see within the next 4 years that we take our association to the next level and we get ourselves a right platform for our anniversary.
Absolutely, and I'm delighted that Carol Bell is also joining us. And Carol, if you could just explain a little bit to everyone watching what your role is on the FAW board.
I've joined the inaugural board of FA Wales in 2019. I'm one of the 3 independent non-executive directors there. And whereas a lot of other people on our board know more than me about football, I'm too old to have played it. I hope I bring governance experience and experience on what we're talking about today, actually, which is creating a strategy. And I've been asked to work on the sustainability of the association, which is not so much a pillar, but a foundation for everything that we're trying to achieve in the future.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to chatting to the 3 of you later on. And the FAW will be leaders in the pursuit of excellence, both on and off the pitch, by partnering with our members and stakeholders to promote, develop and care for football in Wales and beyond. Later on in the launch, we'll also be speaking with Sian Lewis, Chief Executive of the Urdd, who will highlight the importance of such partnerships. Firstly, however, Steve is going to kick the whole thing off for us, and he will now provide an outline of our Wales.
Firstly, as President of the Football Association of Wales, I would officially like to welcome those of you in attendance with us here today, and to all those joining us in today's live stream from various places across Wales, Europe and the world. We are proud to introduce our Wales, the new vision and strategic plan for Welsh football. This is an exciting and ambitious 6-year plan that will guide our work until 2026, when the FAW will commemorate its 150th anniversary. Welsh football saw significant success over the last strategic cycle, but there's much more to improve, and we can do it all together. Our vision is simple. We want to become a leading football nation at global and local level. We intend to make football the most inclusive, accessible and successful sport in Wales, consistently competing with the very best in the world. Every aspect of football experience should be a positive one, enjoyed locally and nationally, making our nation proud. Achieving this will require a renewed focus on our strategic objectives. The cornerstones of the game we recognise we need for consistent improvement. We renew our priority to ensure women's and girls' football continues to expand and succeed. Of equal importance is making football a sport for all ethnics, abilities and communities. Most important are our people. This means focusing more on both listening to our partners, participants, and reaching out to our new audiences. Developing education and learning programmes from grassroots through to high performance will support us in becoming a resilient, relevant and representative workforce. We take pride in those foundations and continually strive to improve and grow at all levels of the game. Achieving these objectives by 2026 will set us on a path to realising our long-term vision for football in Wales, both locally, global, with quality and success. This is our Wales, and by everyone working together, we can make it stronger, not only for the present, but for the future generations too. Diolch.
Diolch yn fawr, Steve, and thanks again for joining us this morning. And now, it's incredibly important that the President and the CEO of the FAW have good people around them, whether that be the hard-working staff, the shareholders of the association who devote their lives to the game here in Wales, or those who offer their experience and expertise at board level. Now, Carol Bell, you sit as one of the 3 non-executive members of the FAW board, and as you've told us, you are the lead for the Sustainable Association for the Future. Now, I'm really intrigued by this. What exactly are the main principles of that work?
Well, over the summer, we've been busy with a group of people who are a very diverse group representing all aspects of Welsh football from the grassroots upwards. And we've been really having a think about what do we need to do to create a sustainable association for the future. It's been a very data-driven approach, but guiding us through all of it is the very helpful piece of legislation that we have here in Wales, and it is unique to Wales, and that's the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act. So rather than acting in the short term, what we're trying to do is to build sustainability over the long term. We've listened to everybody around Wales involved in football. We've collected data that informs our decisions. We've looked at what other nations are doing in football, especially small nations, and we've taken that into our thinking. And what we'll be hoping to do now is to make some recommendations to the board and to the shareholders so that alongside the strategy that's unveiled today, there will be this path towards sustainability over the longer term.
And Carol, you know, equality, diversity and inclusion is also something that's incredibly important to the board and shareholders. Would you like to elaborate a bit more on that?
Well, certainly. When we were putting the group together to work alongside myself and others on this question of sustainability, the first task was to put together a group that was truly diverse and representative of what goes on the field in Wales, rather than necessarily how the governing body and how the board looks right now. I'm very, very proud to be the first woman on the board of FAW, and we also have representation on council. But it's not about male and female diversity, it's about all the other sorts of diversity. And it's a fundamental thing for us that everybody who wants to play football in Wales can do so comfortably at whatever level they feel like. Because stating the obvious, this will be delivering on one of the big purposes of Welsh Government, which is to create more wellness in the system, and football is one of those things that naturally does that, I think.
Ac yn y Gymraeg, Carol, fel aelod o'r bwrdd, mae'n rhaid eich bod chi mor falch bod yr ymrwymiad i'r Gymraeg, ond hefyd diwylliant Cymru mor bwysig i'r gymdeithas.
Wel, mae'n rhaid i fi ddweud, wy'n eistedd ar nifer o gyrff yng Nghymru, a bydden ni'n dweud taw Gymdeithas Bêl-droed yw'r un ble mae'r Gymraeg yn eistedd yn naturiol iawn yng nghanol pethau. Oedd dim angen grŵp ffocws, a o'n i benderfynu galw'r tîmau ryngwladol yn Cymru. Mae'n fater o falchder mawr i fi, fel rhywun oedd yn y garfan gyntaf i gael addysg ailradd drwy gyfrwng y Gymraeg, bod cymaint o'n chwaraewyr ryngwladol ni nawr yn gallu cael eu cyfweld yn Gymraeg. A wy'n hollol falch bod 2 ohonyn nhw, sef Ben Davies a Ruben Colwell, wedi mynd i'r un ysgol â fi, a Stella Vera. A mae rhaid i fi ddweud, mae hwnnw'n beth balch iawn i fi i feddwl am yr hen ysgol yn troi mas Cymru Cymraeg. Felly, Mae'r Gymraeg yn rhywbeth naturiol I ni, a wy'n edrych mlaen I weld mwy o Gymraeg yn cael ei siarad yn y blynyddoedd sydd ddod.
Yn sicr mae rhywbeth yn y dŵr yn ysgol Yslyfera. There's something in the water at Yslyfera. And Carol, just to finish off, you have a lot of experience at board level. What do you feel is the key area for the FAW to focus on now?
Well, I think it's got to be partnerships, and Noel will be talking more about that. Steve has already mentioned that approach. For me, it's joined up thinking. We're a small nation. We punch above our weight, and we've done that almost by accident. But how much more powerful can we be when we harness the whole of Wales behind what we're doing? These partnerships are tremendously important, and it's that's what lies ahead for us, and that's what very much the sustainability group that I've been working on has been advocating, and partnerships way beyond the commercial, obvious ones to bring money in, I would say.
Bendant. Well, Carol, diolch o galon am eich amser chi bore yma. Now, I can see he's itching to go, so I think it's time for me to introduce the new CEO, Noel Mooney, to the stage, and he will outline the core bits of information with regards to the Our Wales strategy.
Diolch, Sianed. It gives me great pleasure today to launch in Cymru, Our Wales, our vision and strategic plan for Welsh football to 2026. We're here not just to share our plans with you today, but to invite you with us on this important journey. We want your help to create a Wales that we and future generations can be proud of. On a global level, we strive to create a leading football nation. We wish to consistently compete with the very best in the world. We want all of our national teams reaching World and Euro finals on a consistent basis. But equally, we want to be seen as leaders off the pitch. We want to be held up as thought leaders in global and European sport. At a local level, our responsibility is to hugely grow the most inclusive, accessible and popular sport in all parts of our country. We want many, many more women and girls playing football. We want to welcome many more people from different backgrounds to fall in love with our game. We want people of all ages and abilities enjoying our game on a regular basis. We will reach new heights and make history. We will take responsibility now to shape the future for Wales and set the standard for future generations. Our vision is of a global local Wales. This will be the focus of our work at the Football Association of Wales with our partners. In an effort to move us closer to our vision, we've identified these 6 strategic pillars. These pillars will guide us on our journey. Our plan is clear, our plan is focused. Behind each of these strategic pillars, we have detailed objectives and key performance indicators to enable us to see that we are successfully delivering on each for Welsh football. Firstly, we have Wales on the world stage to build a leading football nation. We'll strive to deliver quality and consistent performances globally on and off the field of play. Next, we have clear and effective pathways for progression to enable our players to reach their full potential. We will deliver a high-performance culture which will allow our players to progress, succeed, and reach their highest levels possible. A flexible, inclusive, and appealing offer to significantly increase participation. We want to see our schools, clubs, colleges, universities, and community pitches full of people of all ages and backgrounds enjoying our beautiful game in a way that suits them best and embraces changing lifestyles. A sustainable association for the future, as Carol mentioned, will enable us to deliver our strategy. We must create a resilient, diverse and agile organisation that thinks big and thinks long term. We must align our resources behind one Wales, one plan, one team, and embrace change and evolution, without fear of change, without resisting progress. We need a skilled, diverse and engaged football family to lead us into the future. We will develop the growth of our football family by developing female and male administrators thought leaders from diverse backgrounds to lead the growth of our game in Wales at all levels and provide the tools to them to manage and enjoy our sport most efficiently and most effectively. And finally, inspirational and fit for future facilities to offer people the appropriate places to play their football. We desperately need better facilities at grassroots level. We must work in partnership and develop a tailored and strategic approach to facilities development. For me, facilities at the grassroots level is the #1 challenge of our time to ensure every girl and boy can enjoy football in good conditions. The 3 milestones you see behind me will be the key in driving our work for the next 6 years. We'll prioritise the growth of the female game, doubling its size. We'll show unwavering commitment to developing the grassroots and domestic game, ensuring that more than 120,000 players are playing the game across Wales, an increase of 30,000 participants. Since arriving in Wales, I've travelled across the country to visit clubs in different communities. The demand to be involved in football is clearly there. Clubs are telling me that they have waiting lists. They cannot meet the demand. So therefore, we need the structures and facilities to meet this demand. Facilities will be key to the development of the game at all levels. Quality facilities provide the foundations to develop our players. Good grassroots facilities provide opportunities for people of all backgrounds. Facilities will be key, therefore, to the delivery of our plan. If we are to create an active nation where everyone can have a lifelong enjoyment of sport, the vision for sport in Wales, then facilities are going to play a key role. We know that our vision and plan for the future can only be met if we work together. The FAW must be an open and truly collaborative organisation to achieve our ambitions for Welsh football. We know that we can accomplish so much more by working with Welsh Government, Sport Wales, and many other partners such as our friends at the FAW Trust, UEFA, FIFA, our sponsors and broadcasters, ORD, the WSA, and many more. This multi-partner approach will enable us to strengthen and grow the game for all. Football is so much more than just a game. Football has the power to connect people and impact their lives in positive ways. Football crosses all boundaries and sectors like no other. It is important that we work together towards creating a Wales that we're all proud to call home today and for generations to come. A welcoming football nation that brings us all together, because as we say in Welsh football, together we truly are stronger. This, my friends, is our future. This is our responsibility. This is our Wales. Diolch and thank you.
Diolch yn fawr, Noel. And Noel, one of the things that you've highlighted and discussed during your presentation is that facilities and partnerships are absolutely key to growing the game here in Wales.
Well, certainly, we're launching our strategy today, but it's all about partnerships. I mean, if you look at the work that we do with the FAW Trust, with FIFA, UEFA, of course, who fund and guide us in a lot of the things that we do. The Welsh Government and Sport Wales, we've had very positive engagement so far, and we'll have many more over the coming months. But we can't do this without the support of the Welsh Government, who obviously are here to create a happier, healthier Wales. Through football, we certainly can do that. Sport Wales, I'm sure, will be very supportive in our big aspirations to build and to renovate grassroots facilities across Wales. As I said in the presentation, I was quite struck by the demand for football. I visited some grassroots clubs, and they have people queuing up outside to play football, but I suppose one of the disappointments that I saw was some of the facilities at grassroots level, they have a long way to go. So the legacy that we leave through this strategy, I really hope, and the support is there from our council and board and from all our partners, is to really focus and to build these facilities, because without having good grassroots facilities, we simply cannot reach our full potential. So I suppose one of the big messages of today is that our focus will be very much on about grassroots facilities to ensure girls and boys can play football in the right conditions.
Absolutely, and that leads us on very nicely to the next part of this presentation, because we'd like to take this opportunity now to highlight the incredibly important role that our football clubs and grassroots clubs play across the country here in Wales. We all know football is more than just a game, and these clubs are at the heart of our communities, making our cities, towns and villages even better to places in which to live and work. And we've just heard Noel talk about the FAW's vision with the Our Wales strategic plan, and this is the case study of Pontardawe Town. This case study is fantastic and demonstrates exactly how the FAW and its clubs are already striving for an inclusive football offer, a skilled football family and an effective pathway for player progression.
It's really important for us that we're providing opportunities for everyone, male, female, the different ages, and people with disabilities. We really want to be that inclusive club that everyone can come along to and participate in a game that we all love. We've had players within both sections moving to academy levels, playing for the national teams, and everyone just aspires to be like your Lauren Dykes, your Conor Roberts. It's absolutely fantastic. Oh, it's a massive, massive accolade, to have those players come from your local community club. The players here know about them, they aspire to be like them. Lauren comes back and forth, she takes training sessions. Conor Roberts has been to presentation evenings, so that connection is still ongoing.
It means a lot. Obviously, it's where I spent most of my childhood. It's where I started playing football. It's home, isn't it? It's where you go, where you feel most comfort, and people know you on the streets, and you're chatting to people. So for me, it'll always be a special place in my heart. It's that place, at the heart of a community. So whether it's sport and you've got somewhere on your doorstep, but people can't travel everywhere, somewhere you can go on your doorstep to play. It's like I said, good for businesses, local businesses. They give to the clubs. You give to them, so I just think it could be the heart of sort of a community. So for me, I think it's really important. Where do players start? They start at grassroots, and you start younger, and there needs to be more players playing. It's fantastic the work they've done so far. Participation levels are through the roof. So like I said, without that connection, we won't get elite players. It's the start. So I think it's really important.
We've just recently had a young little girl who was so quiet, and she just gained a place in West Wales Development Centre, and she's just beaming now. She's absolutely so confident, it's lovely. I think every club wants the same for their players. We want them to enjoy, we want them to be happy, progress, doing something that they love, and developing their skills with their friends. And we're providing those skills for life, not just football.
Well, a fantastic example there of a football club that's working in partnership with its community. When I was a little girl, I actually played for Pontardawe, so it's great to see the incredible work that they're still doing over there. Well, you've noticed a change in personnel. I'm pleased to say that Sian Lewis has joined us, who is the CEO of Urdd Gobaith Cymru, a national voluntary youth organisation with over 55,000 members between the ages of 8 and 25 years old. The Urdd recently announced a partnership with the FAW as well. So Sian, mae'n braf iawn cael eich cwmni chi. A na i ddechrau yn y Gymraeg, rhyw bythefnos yn ôl y Gymdeithas yn lawnsio partneriaeth newydd gyda'r Urdd. Beth yw gwerth y fath yma o bartneriaeth?
Mae'n amserol iawn bod ni wedi lansio'r partneriaeth yma, herwydd mae'n flaenoriaeth clir gan yr Urdd i sicrhau o fewn yn adran chwaraeon ni bod ni'n mynd i dyfu yn ymwneud gyda'r merched yn cymunedau ni ar draws Cymru. Mae yna 15,000 o blant yn wythnosol yn cymryd rhan yn chwaraeon yn mewn clybiau ar draws y wlad. Ond beth sy'n ddiddorol, mae 62% o'r rheina'n ferched ysgolion cynradd. Ond mae gyda ni gyd gyfrifoldeb, dwi'n meddwl, yn unigolion ac yn sefydliadau i gynyddu'r niferoedd o ferched yna sy'n ymwneud â chwaraeon, ac mae'n addas iawn felly bod ni'n edrych ar gweithio'r cyd efo'r Gymdeithas Pêl-droed i sicrhau bod ni'n amplifio'r reach yna, sicrhau bod yna fwy o ferched yn ymwneud.
And we'll just touch on this in English as well, Sian, a new partnership between the Urdd and the FAW. What are the benefits of having this sort of partnership?
It was a very timely partnership because we need to make sure that we engage with more girls taking part in sports in their communities, and we're very proud of the work that the Urdd has done in ensuring that we can get more girls taking part in sport, and 62%, as I said, of the girls engaging in sports with the Urdd. So, you know, there's a lot of work still to be done, but a lot of work we can be doing together to make sure that works.
And Noel, if I could come to you next, we've seen from the link with the Urdd, increasing participation is key, and it's a big, big focus of the Our Wales strategy. How will other partnerships help you deliver the FAW's vision for football in this country?
Yeah, we've got to look at a lot of different partnerships with universities, colleges, new partnerships that will really grow the game. And some of our universities, for example, are like small cities, to be honest. We visited one up in Wrexham the other day that, you know, so many people there who are looking for outlets in football certainly offers them that. But I mean, I mentioned earlier the existing partnerships. I mean, the FAW Trust has supported and obviously leads on the participation side, which is very important to us. We get a lot of guidance from our friends at FIFA and UEFA, of course, as well. Welsh Government and Sport Wales, we take our cue from them. What's very important for the FAW in the life of the strategy and well beyond is that we're seen as, you know, taking the objectives of the Welsh Government and Sport Wales and being an extension of them almost. So we're looking very closely at what the Welsh Government wants to achieve, what Sport Wales want to achieve, and the FAW, through this strategy and how we behave and how we work, has to be very much in line with that. So, as I say, over the next few weeks and months, we will align really, really well with the Welsh Government and with Sport Wales and other partners to ensure that we're delivering what they want, because we want a great country. Football can really, for me, I may be biased because I'm from football all my life, but it changes so much in people's lives. It's got so much to offer in Wales, whether it's mental health, whether it's obesity, whether it's just having a better life in so many ways. We've so much to offer that if we combine with the Welsh Government and with Sport Wales, it can be spectacular what occurs in terms of growing participation, as we say, to 120,000 players. And that's our registered players as such. Like, there's so many people that play unregistered football in this kind of grey area they talk about, which is, you know, commercial five-a-sides or park football that we can't quite capture on the Comet system, etc. But we want every girl and boy, every woman and man to at least get the chance to play football and get the chance to fall in love with it, because we really believe it can change people's lives. We genuinely believe that this, for the Welsh Government and for Sport Wales, is a huge winner for them. If they embrace us and they work with us, we can do very special things.
Absolutely. And Steve, you know, as president, I'm sure you'd like to leave a legacy from your time here as president, and again, partnerships would potentially be key to that.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, in pursuit of excellence, it's essential that we partner with our members and stakeholders to promote and develop football in Wales and beyond. I'm obviously incredibly keen to see us work with mind-like partners and have a positive impact across the country. But as we've heard today, the partnership with Urdd highlights how the FAW looks beyond football to play a role in the culture of Wales and its life.
And Noel, I'll just come to you to end. I really like the term a global, local Wales. Can you sort of elaborate a bit more on what that means?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen over the last number of years, we've seen the men's national team with our players like Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey and so on and so forth, bring Wales to a new stage on the global level. We're about to see our women's national team. I think we're all super excited about what Gemma and that squad is doing. I got to spend some time with them. They are, whether it's this campaign, the next campaign, they are going to go global, that squad. And then for the 19s and 17s, I think we've got a huge confidence that they are going to bring Wales globally. However, that can't occur without what you saw in the video from Pontardawe, what happens locally, and that was what I was referring to in the strategy earlier. Like, to create a Jess Fishlock or to create a Sophie Ingle, you need to have really good facilities. You need to have really good people, programs and places, as we say. So without having them, we can't do that. And that's why today very much the call is on our partners to work with us on this journey and to ensure that we can deliver globally, as I say, with these stars we've created and these top teams we've created, which have made the people of Wales very proud. But locally, we need to be better. We need to serve our grassroots clubs better. We need to have a football services centre which allows them to get the services they require to reach their potential. So I think by getting it right locally, we can certainly deliver globally. And I think from seeing the market that's out there for Welsh football, the market's huge here. All we need to do is to engage with them, to give them what they want to do, what they want to do in football, and then just deliver to reach our full potential in the coming years.
Well, diolch, Noel. That feels like a fitting way to end the presentation. Steve, Noel, Sian and Carol, thank you very, very much. Diolch yn fawr am ymuno â ni heddi. Well, we hope that this live event has provided an overview and introduction to our Wales, the FAW strategic plan for 2021 to 2026. Now, the Our Wales plan is available to view right now by visiting our.wales and ein.cymru. You'll also be able to track the FAW's progress via these platforms over the 5-year span of the strategic plan. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this live event. We appreciate you taking the time to learn about the FAW strategic vision. Diolch yn fawr I chi am ymuno â ni heddi. Mae wedi bod yn bleser cael cwmni Steve, Noel a Carol a Sian hefyd, a diolch I chi am wylio. Together we can reach new heights for Welsh football locally and globally. This is Our Wales.
Our vision is to create a leading football nation, one where the game is inclusive, accessible and successful. From park football to the world stage, our plan is for a global